Hello people on the internet, my name is Sarah, or as I'm known on the internet, Sketchbook Sarah, and today I'm going to be taking you through everything I saw, experienced, and drew when I was on my Caribbean cruise. I went to the island of St. Kitts, St. Martin's, and Puerto Rico. It was a really beautiful time. I saw a lot of wonderful beaches, drank a lot of delicious piña coladas now that I'm finally 21, and saw a lot of really cool animals. So I will just take you through the experience of everything I saw and created while I was there.
We've landed. The lightning is crazy, so we can't leave, so we're stuck in the airport, but we're waiting for other people, so that's okay. We're gonna post up at the airport bar.
Day one, we just landed in Fort Lauderdale and just prepared to get on the cruise. Getting on a cruise ship is actually like a lot of time and preparation if you don't know. Like, you have to get there, then you have to get on the boat, then you have to go through a billion screening checks, and you have to wait in these really long lines. And then once you finally get on the boat, it's like, oh, we're finally here, we've made it. And you gotta run straight to the bar and first grab your first piña colada of the trip. That's essential. And like I said, this was my 21st birthday present from my mom. Thanks, Mom. So it was me, my mother, and her friend from high school, and her daughter, and another friend, and we just had a wonderful time. They're such wonderful people, and I really like my mom's friends, which is kind of weird to say, but I really like hanging out with my mom's friends, so it was a lot of fun. And like I said, she has a younger daughter, so I hung out with people my age. I ended up finding this group of people that I hung out with for the rest of the cruise my first night, and it was just a blast. I had a ton of fun with these people, and we just connected really well. We played a lot of different games on the cruise. Like, if you've never been on a cruise ship, they're kind of chock full with like these like activities and game shows and things like that, and I participated in quite a few of them. I was champion at music trivia. There was a mishap, so for music trivia, the one I played with and the one I was most successful at was this rock trivia one, and I'm really good at naming songs and naming tunes if I know them, but since it's a cruise and like there's a lot of old people, they'll usually cater it to like the 50s, 60s, and whatever, and I'm like, I don't know any of this stuff. But for the rock one, it was all like a few 80s and 70s, but mostly 90s and early 2000s rock songs, and I know that like the back of my hand. So I was really eager to play. We went to the music hall, and the room was divided in two, and you had to run up to the stage and grab the mic if you knew the answer. But, we were competing one side of the room versus the other side of the room. However, my side of the room, I was the only person who was wanting to compete. So it just ended up where, like, I was competing against, like, a bunch of other people, and it was just me. And I was winning. I was, like, I had, like, 4, and I thought once you already went up, you couldn't go up again. So I even let these people have, like, extra points, even though I knew the answers. Anyway, I went up for this one song. They play the first few notes of Wonderwall by Oasis, and I know it. So I run up to the mic. I have the mic in my hand, and I look up and to see this woman, like, charging at me, and I'm like, what? And then while I'm holding this mic in my hand and this woman is charging at me, this other man grabs the mic and yanks it from my hand. And while he does that, this woman runs into me and I collapse on the floor, and she tackles me, and the game like stops, and we're like, ooh, we need to chill out, people. We're just playing for a keychain. But the woman who tackled me, she was nicer. She like apologized at first. This other guy, he went and played music trivia every single time they offered it, and like would always play it, and he just pissed me off because he would like act like he was my enemy as if he was the one not cheating. Oh, and to top it all off, when he did snatch the microphone out of my hand, he didn't even know the freaking answer. He just did it so I wouldn't get the point. He stuttered for like 2 minutes on the mic while people were shouting at him what the answer was. But I knew the answer. That's why I went up and grabbed it. Anyway, that pissed me off. There's a lot of other fun things that happened in a lot of other music we won on that trip, but I did not win that one. I think this guy looks less creepy than this guy. This guy is kind of horrifying looking. This guy looks more natural. This guy is like a haunted specter. Ooh. Off the boat, we did a lot of exploring around the different islands. My mom hired like different excursion like drivers to drive us around the various islands, so I spent a lot of the day exploring the island in the car, but honestly that's sort of my preferred mode of transportation when you're in the Caribbean and it's August and it's hot as hell. Like, every vacation I've taken lately, it just feels like my main takeaway is just how sweaty I am and how much I hate being sweaty, which is funny because I want to live somewhere tropical and I really do prefer warm weather. I really hate the winter, but being sweaty is not the most comfortable experience ever, and I've just been in a lot very sweaty places recently, but it's beautiful and the weather was beautiful. We went to a lot of different various bars and cafes, and it was really nice getting off the boat because like when you're on a cruise ship, like as fun as the activities are, you can feel kind of a little trapped, so it's nice to get off and sort of stretch your legs and walk around and hike and be in nature again. and not in the middle of the ocean. I really liked St. Martin's. It had like it was interesting. So half of the island is French and the other half is Dutch. So on the French side, there was a bunch of like French bakeries and stuff. I got some really delicious pastries at this one bakery. And the Dutch island was like controlled by Dutch side, like I said, and the government sort of just functioned separately of each other, which I thought was really interesting. And on the Dutch side, there was like this beach where like planes would land like right above your head. So that's what we did, and we went to this bar and drank beers on the beach and just had a wonderful time relaxing and wandering around. I kind of did less drawing than I originally anticipated on this trip. I brought my full kit, which has colored pencils in it, gouache, watercolor, pens, everything you would kind of want. And I packed a full kit, but I didn't end up doing as much drawing as I thought I would. I kind of more focused on experiencing and sort of taking a break from drawing. I've been really grinding this summer, so it was nice to sort of relax a bit more. That's what vacation's all about, obviously.
It's super long.
Did you let me have a pet iguana?
No. I worked at an advertising agency. They had one on a tree in the house, and it just sat there all the time.
It was not active like these guys.
No.
These guys have to live in the wild and fear for their lives and cars and stuff. As many tropical places do, they had a bunch of iguanas, which I always love to see. I'm a big fan of iguanas, but I've never seen them in this like really orange color. That was something new I'd never seen before, and I thought it was really cool. Apparently there is like this really big mean one that's like bright orange on the island that they named Trump. So I didn't see Trump, but I did see his brother. I saw another really bright orange one. My process is sort of the same as always. I'm a very mixed media artist, and I really like layering effects, and you know, there's just a lot of different looks that I sort of can't get, or it's more difficult for me to get with one medium or the other. So I really like to combine a bunch of mediums, which is really annoying because I have to lug this like huge kit around, but in the end I'm really happy with how my pages look. So my method is I start it with my tanned watercolor sketchbook, and I do a layer of watercolor. And the reason I really like this tanned paper for watercolor, even though it's a transparent medium, is that you're able to like really build on top of what's there and have this really pretty layered effect. And then once I have that all squared away, I will go back in and build on top with gouache, which is an opaque medium. And the reason that I do this is that you kind of can't get these really beautiful, light, cool colors on this tanned paper without adding an opaqueness. And the opaqueness will just bounce off of that warmth and that depth that you've already created so beautifully. And honestly, I can't get the amount of saturation, refinement, and contrast as I can with colored pencils, as I can with like watercolor and gouache. Like for me, I just can never make it dark enough or punchy enough, and colored pencils are really great for this. I feel like they really add and enhance their own layeredness, and I really like the depth that you can get and the variety of textures you can get as well. There's also that layered texture element. Sometimes I will also go over top with pens. As you know, I really like to incorporate patterns into my work, so I most often do this with like the sky. If you'll see later on, I'm drawing like some palm trees, and I really liked using the white gel pen to add details there. See, my question is, why don't the cats eat the chickens?
That's right, yeah.
Why don't they eat the chicks?
Right. I almost didn't see this chick right here, so be careful.
Oh my god, it's so little!
I know, it's cute.
The reason I work this way is just because it's easiest to take with me on the go and get sort of the full breadth of visual that I want. Like I said, there's different people who work with different things. I used to only sketch in ballpoint pen, and obviously that's great for sketching and sort of practicing, but for making like little finished vignettes like I like to do in my journal, like I like to keep my work pretty finished and pretty complete, and with full color spectrum and all patterns, and it's just sort of my style. In order to get that and achieve that look, I do have to use a lot more supplies, but the way I think about my pages is that I usually like to do the drawing first and then think about like a title or a lettering and incorporate that, and maybe do like another like sticker-ish element, I think of it as, to just sort of tie the whole thing together. Once I got back on the boat, I just hung out with my friends a lot, and we went to different game shows. There was this really funny one where they asked like newlywed couples, and there was this one couple that had been married for 50 years, and they gave some really funny responses to like different, you know, invasive questions. The next day we got off at Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is definitely my favorite port. I just adore it there. It was so beautiful. San Juan has this really beautiful mix of Spanish and French architecture, which I really enjoy because it was colonized by the French and the Spaniards at different points in time, and now it's obviously a U.S. territory. The reason why I kind of want to move there is because I have been wanting to leave like America, but like at the same time, like getting a visa and getting all that, I've already gone through that to move to Italy, and oh my god, it was such a nightmare and a headache. So to be able to move to a Spanish speaking country that's still in well, you know, territory that's still in the US and still sort of has that like sort of removed feel, but still having some American elements and having that connection back home is really attractive to me. So low-key, I will look into moving into Puerto Rico when I graduate, because I think it would be a really fun place to live. And I've always wanted to live somewhere tropical. I'm like really not a fan of my seasonal depression that I seem to get every year. And when I was in Italy, I was like, oh my god, I'm right. I'm not depressed because it's warm out. And, you know, I get depressed, but it's different when I'm in the winter. I'm just like, it's just this despair that I just can't shake. Like, I just feel like I cannot be happy consistently for like 3 months out of the year. And like, that's a really big chunk of my life that I would like to avoid just feeling miserable for no reason. So that's why I'm kind of adamant about, like, I really want to move somewhere without early winter just to try it out and see. I don't know, maybe I'll miss it. Maybe I'll miss the changing of the seasons, but I really love this like beautiful tropical paradise that I got to experience in Puerto Rico. We did eat at this Puerto Rican restaurant and I had this delicious piña colada you see me stir, but I'm gonna be honest, the food I had was not that great. When we went back on the cruise, we wore some wigs.
Oh my gosh.
I'm feeling wigged out.
The reason we did that is because my mom's friend has cancer and we wanted to just party it up. And one thing that was really cool that she said is that since we were all wearing wigs, she felt like normal and she didn't feel like she stuck out in any way. So that was really cool. And it was fun. Like, there's a bunch of little girls like taking pictures of us. On the last day, we went to Coco Key, which is Royal Caribbean's private beach. And I and my friends lost really miserably at beach volleyball, but before that I just hung out and I sketched before it rained. It started like pouring rain. It hadn't rained much the rest of the trip, but this day it just absolutely poured, but thankfully it cleared up just in time for me to hang out and hike around the beach with my friends. And once I got back on the boat, I just sort of finishing my sketches that I already made, and then when I was trying to leave Florida, me and my mom sort of got stranded and they canceled our flight. They delayed it after like 4 hours, and my mom thankfully was able to like talk the lady or whatever into giving us an overnight stay, and then we had to rechange my flight, and that sort of messed with me going back to school. But I'm happy that it all worked out in the end. It was kind of a nightmare living through it, but at the end we're all good. Everything is all peachy keen. Thank you so much for watching this video. Give it a like and a comment and a subscribe if you're interested in seeing more comments or if you enjoyed this video. I'm a very small channel, so every bit helps. All my links are in the description. Buy my art on Etsy and have a great day. Okay, bye!